Hello, everyone. Peace and togetherness, unity for all. My name is Rick Jors. I can be followed or viewed on Facebook and also Telegram. Having said this, we'll jump right into it, if you will. So the title of this is, let's say, quote, necessary, scary events, unquote, and the deception involved with this. And I need to go into this at this time for several reasons. One reason is what we wish to look at is what we call a beast machine that was recently disabled, taken out by the light forces. Now, this beast machine, what it was used for was it involved, let's say, alien technology to disrupt upon the planet the natural rhythm and flow of energetics so that the narrative, that the reality could be controlled by distorting it and configuring it to more of an algorithm, if you will, than it was controlled by the technology that did it. Having said this, this has been taken out by the light, and as a result, it is also part of this ascension where it begins to uplift the consciousness even more. Whereas this machine, if you will, was there to limit the consciousness, to keep one's blinded. Now that it's taken out, then more truth can be delivered. And not only on a worldwide deception basis where it's all being revealed, the deception, also on the individual level, there are layers of clearing, and I will not include that in this one. However, there's also a purification, a redemption, and a confession process ongoing that has begun also on the individual level. But again, that's not part of this one. So what I've done is wrote down, some notes and points so I can go through this more quickly and perhaps be more thorough and constructive in this presentation. So, essentially, again, the beast machine, it was, well, let's just drop that and I'll get into this. So, okay, so what I got wrote here, the dark tactics at controlling the script in reality was keeping the focus on the fear to create a fear paradigm and to distract ones from creating the reality where fear was not at and where it does not exist. So, for example, with this, what I am saying is that you have many narratives out there, but you will see in the awakened communities the necessary scary events. Now, what I wish to say, no, there are no necessary scary events, and this is the deception that is involved in that. What you have is tactics from the darkness that interject this information in so that the human souls will create this reality for them. The darkness themselves cannot manifest and create at the level that all of you can. This is why they had used alien technology and played with the energy to manipulate it for their use. However, in this great time, that manipulation, the main manipulation upon the planet and in this reality has been disabled. And it also then gives the opportunity to hear more speaking of what I'm saying here and more disclosure and revealing the actual deeper tactics and intents of how the darkness worked and brainwashed ones, and also to construct the stories to keep ones into complacency and into a conformity by creating the reality where the darkness, if you will, wanted them to go or remain in. So, having said this, once again, and to reiterate, everyone needs to be wise to know with these stories and these narratives that know that fear, scary events do not need to be created at all to awaken the others. This is the falsity. But why they do that, why the darkness interject this concoction, if you will, is to get ones that are believing that storyline and that narrative to enhance and energize looping scary events. This is how they create their wars as well. For example, the darkness could not create a war if the people, the co-creators, if the souls did not believe it, it would never be created. So they manipulate the thoughts, but they also manipulate the narratives and the false beliefs to get ones to create for them. So it's very important where your conscious thoughts go, that's where your energy goes as well, and with your belief. So if you believe that it takes necessary scary events, then you are actually energizing it and creating it for them. When the opposite is true, once you are conscientious and aware that you create the reality where there are no scary events, and you keep your focus on there in collaboration and contact with your other higher divine comrades, then we create the new world where none of that exists. So you need to be wise to these narratives and say no and do not follow them. Or also what I am saying, anything I ever say or write can be repeated freely, and anyone can use it to get this truth out there, to break down these false narratives. Because not only is it a false narrative to create a fear paradigm for them, for the darkness, because the evil cannot exist in a dimension where there is not fear. So they use the people, the human souls that can create, so they trick them and use them to keep their fear reality intact. So you have the choice, once you are aware and know what is actually going on, say, no, we're not going to create nor support, energize, or enhance your fear reality. We are creating the new world. And it is divinely ensured, divinely empowered, and divinely enhanced that this gets done. And anything that is of fear is actually a hindrance to the ascension. It prolongs the ascension, because any fear narrative keeps one's looping in the fear density, and fear blinds, meaning that ones will not rise up into the higher consciousness, because fear is a block for them to rise. So if you keep ones in fear and plunge them into deeper fear, this is the dark tactics to keep everyone in their realm. So be wise to what they're actually doing with this. I'll look at a couple more of the notes here. So, and I wrote this down. So you shift the focus from the defensive as well, meaning that, you're following groups. Some of you perhaps, or whoever watches this, you're in groups and you're following groups that you're dependent upon someone else or some other government or something to do something for you. But also, by doing this, you are defenseless, and you have created a codependency upon another, which gives your power to these other ones to do it for you. But what you also need to realize that, and we'll use Jacera Nasera as an example, for decades, if you will, they keep giving that false illusion, and it never gets done. So you need to know about the trickery involved in that as well. But getting back to what I wrote down, shift the focus from the defensive to the offensive. Now, what I mean about that, I see many out there, they're saying, oh, look what they're doing, look what they're going to do. By keeping busy looking at what they're doing and their false narratives, it's keeping you distracted from your own power and creating the new. So what I am strongly saying here is for everyone now to shift your focus away from supporting any false paradigm and get together and support this one paradigm that creates the new world. Put your focus into that. Do not worry what they are doing. They are the very minority that has the ill intent. You, the people, are the majority, and you are the ones that make the moral and ethical decisions and the righteous decisions upon the planet. You know what the evil has done, the decisions they made. And when you look at, they're supposed to be representatives and respected peers, which they are not. Why do they lead the planet into harm and misery and lack and constantly inflict that into reality? Now, common sense will tell you that they're not that stupid, so that means they're actually having ill intent to do it. So, having said that, let me have a look here. My writing's a little bit messy, as you can see. So, where your consciousness goes, energy goes. By having false and fair narratives in the consciousness, I've already said this, you are actually enhancing it. And you are creating, you are the ones that believe that are actually creating it for the darkness. So that's why I say shift your focus. And again, the darkness cannot create on their own the way that you can create a reality. They manipulate creation. You create, and there's a big difference with that. They cannot create without you. They cannot manipulate without you. So this is why they trick you with their tactics to get you to create their story for them. So do no longer be a fool and do not support that. Join together with the ones that are creating the good story for all of humanity that lifts everyone out of there. And this is in alignment with the Ascension. You know, no longer do you need to suffer, be in misery and be in lack. You know, that's savage, that is dark, and that is evil. And anything that is promoting that sort of a reality is also dark. And when you look at what God is and prime creator and what you know in your heart, every soul is equal. So when you look at a paradigm that's supposedly going to enrich a few with money to, you know, do humanitarian projects for others, well, that is a hierarchy, yeah, if you will. You know, what it's doing, it's disempowering people and it's placing ones above. It's the same old system. And be wise to that. But not only that, it's the selfishness that is involved in that. You know, what gives ones the right, for example, to have, you know, this big bunch of money, if you will, while others only have a little and they give it to them. It's the same old capitalistic structure that was and is designed to keep humanity in this lower dimension, if you will. So, what else do I got here? Now, in your awakened communities, know that the darkness knew this time was coming, the Ascension. And it's important also to know that, like in the past, their tactics are infiltration and manipulate. So ones need to be use your discernment at identifying who is actually genuine for the people and who has an underlying or ulterior agenda. So you use your discernment with this in the way that, let me have a look here, what else I got written. So what I need to say, the darkness has what we call controlled opposition out there, which are leaders or prominent influencers of the people that the people are following. However, these influencers are not leading them to their freedom. They lead them back into the system, fighting the system. Is one thing they do, and why they want that is to keep creating animosity, fear, and aggression. So you see these prolonged narratives where ones are always fighting the system for their sovereignty, for their autonomy, but you never see it coming to fruition because it's not really meant to. Having said this, at this time with GPMS.world, this is the full freedom instrument, what I fully endorse and I am only one guardian of it that absolutely frees the people. Now, during the course of presenting GPMS, the ultimate solution for the people and what ascends the planet, it has been rejected by what we call controlled opposition. And having said this, these are supposed to be prominent, intelligent ones that should recognize in an instant the ultimate solution of GPMS. But when they shut it off and go against it, it instantly reveals that they have an ulterior agenda. And then it becomes more clear that they are an actual controlled opposition. And when you have in any of your movements right now, in your sovereign movements, freedom movements, when you have ones coming in pushing a political agenda, that is also a no-no. Where the planet is going, there is no longer any politics. But if you're to give your power away again to a political agenda and a government agenda, that is to keep control over you. So understand that there are those ones as well that come in again, and they come in to cause separation, to distort, to manipulate, and to steer ones astray, and this is their intent with this. So, getting down to the next one. I believe a lot of these I already covered. I just took notes. So again, what I wrote here, we're not dealing with low consciousness with these ones. It is actually intentional what they are doing. They intend to lead the ones astray, as I said. So, because, essentially no one is that stupid not to recognize GPMS, especially if they are a leader, a speaker of the people. They know it's the full. So ignorance is not an excuse as well. So let me have a look here. I'm getting closer. I want to keep this as short as possible. another thing, when you look at one's, in this great time of increasing hardship and lack upon the planet, you see some of these that are out there, they're providing intel, and, they're also supporting the propagated fear paradigm. But what you also need to take note of is look at how these ones are profiting and capitalizing off of the expense of others. And some of these, what's come to my attention is that they're perhaps making $1 million a year just off of subscriptions from others and never really doing anything for humanity. And let's say going and buying $1 million home while so many are starving around the world, that is a total, absolute red flag that lets you know that there is something very wrong with this, So it takes away the authenticity and the credibility of the individual that is capitalizing off of so many. So be conscientious of that. So, having said that, the absolute solution is gpms.world. It doesn't cost anyone any money to be a part of it. It only costs about 3 minutes of your time to add your consent, your agreement. And what we are doing with GPMS, we are collecting all of the agreements worldwide. Once we have the majority, then where all of these agreements are collected as a majority, it is then ratified by the majority of the people all around the world universally. And this new GPMS reality where you never need to worry about money again and you are free with simplified law, it is created, it's lawful, and nothing can oppose it because it is a ratified agreement by the people. And it doesn't get done until, we have the majority that goes to the website and logs in your agreement. It's like a petition. It's a worldwide vote, a referendum. Do you want this new world? If you do, you need to join with us to create the majority voice. Then we create it. And really, it's at your fingertips. From the time I'm speaking here today, February the 20th, 2023, within a month, we could have this new, abundant, free world for everyone. And each one, does their part and assist us at getting all of the agreements collected, because as soon as we have the majority worldwide collected, it's done. But not only that, the bigger the voice gets, it has an energetic value that keeps changing reality. So it has these beautiful metaphysical effects and results on reality as well. So know that it's a divine vehicle, and it is the full ascension vehicle for the planet that gets them there. And one of the main reasons it does this, it alleviates all stress. Stress is fear that keeps the old paradigm intact. So you need to let everyone know now they have a choice. Do you choose the old government network structure upon the planet that created disparity, lack, misery, suffering? Or do you now choose the new world where none of that is at and everyone has everything? So it becomes the moral obligation of every individual to also do, what is right. And within, let's say, the sovereign lawful communities, everyone knows that in times of tyranny, if you will, by the chosen representatives of the people by being barbaric and causing and inflicting harm. It becomes every individual's responsibility to say no and to join together and put the stop to it. And this is what GPMS does instantly by having the full majority agreement that is ratified, that enacts it, if you will, into law. So it is the absolute solution. And the quicker everyone realizes this, what GPMS is, and assists us in getting it worldwide and getting everyone's agreement collected, the quicker this is done. So, you now have the choice for a new system. You didn't know this option was there before, but now you do. So you were tricked into believing that you didn't have a choice. So your choice before was actually stolen from you if you think you needed to depend on a Jacera or Nursera or what have you. That is not true. You need to you are your own savior, and you are your own savior through your choice, what you wish to choose, this old reality or the new paradigm. So you now have a choice, and this choice holds true for everyone upon the planet. And I can guarantee and assure anyone, once you look at the choice of GPMS, what it is, everyone will choose it, and they are. So this is important to do so. So with GPMS, we're expanding, and great numbers are beginning to come in now in this great time. Humanity more or less has had enough. It's no longer acceptable what's been occurring worldwide with the constant infliction of harm and deprivation. That is savage, that is barbaric. And with this, money is created out of thin air. And it's important what I just said, and meaning where money is created out of thin air, if the governments were actually for the people, they would just create so everyone has more than enough. But they chose not to do that because of their, let's say the governments they're puppets, and there is puppet masters that's above them. But we don't need to worry and look at what they are, because we are much bigger. We are the people, so we put our focus on creating the new reality, and their reality just continues to implode, and it fades out of existence very quickly. So it's important where you put your consciousness. So what I wish is for all conscious co-creators that know you're able to manifest to come in, unite with us at GPMS, so we empower this and get it done much more quicker and do what is right. So I am asking now for all of you that are advanced to go into your service for others mode now. Know that you're, at this point, the advanced ones, you should know that you're always protected and you have everything you need. And you should also know that you're upon the planet at this time to serve a very important divine service. And that is to be the light leaders to assist in creating this new world for humanity, for all human souls. So you do have a purpose, you do have a mission, and it's time to kick into that service to others. This is what we're here for. You're not here to profit, live in luxury, assist, ones for $100 an hour. That is sick. That is the truth of it, and that's selfish. And don't get caught up into that complacency where you're not doing what you come here to do. So yes, everyone, while we're transitioning this reality, you need enough to survive off of, but don't be excessive, and do not sell your soul to the system by, profiting off of it, because that's what you're doing. You're selling your soul to the system, which is placing yourself and money above the value of the other individuals. So it comes in direct conflict with what you're here to do. And it's time for many of you to get out of that scenario. I've been watching ones that have, and perhaps the ones I'm speaking of, may never watch this. However, what I need to say is, I watch these powerful, genuine ones with credible information, but then they began to charge hefty fees and all of this, and then it becomes all about them, and that is so distasteful, but it's also contradictory to what a spiritual one or an enlightened one should be. So, very quickly you can see who is more genuine oriented and authentic by this. Anyways, that's enough. I kept it short and sweet. And gpms.world, go and check that out, and know that it truly is the thing for the planet, and that this is what's happening, and know that everyone has a choice. So for any of you that's, still in lack and in poverty, that very soon this new world will be created where everyone will be happy, absolute joy, absolute comfort, and no more stress. So this is the one thing that ends all of your stress, your fears, and your worries forever. It's GPMS. But you need to be responsible for yourself, for your children, for your family, to do this and help us get these agreements, this majority agreements worldwide, to get people registered with this. Then we do it instantly, the people. And with that, I said, I am one guardian of GPMS. There are many others, and there will be new ones are coming in constantly that are part of the light leadership to bring this all into ascension, into inception. I'll put that. So this is not an ad hoc plan or something that is just thrown in there. This is divinely from Creator. It is the full strategy. It is the full plan. It is the full direction with the full ultimate goal. So it's all inclusive with that. You have everything. You just need to choose it, and the majority of the people choose it, and it's done. And all of you are liberated and in full abundance, and also some other nice things coming in as well. So beautiful rewards, love, light, and gratitude, peace, and this is unity. Once again, togetherness. That's what this means. It doesn't mean anything else but good togetherness, and this means peace, and this is what GPMS brings as well. Love, light, and gratitude. We got this. I'll see you soon.